Hello everybody, my name is RagingRaptor and I welcome you to a new World of Tanks preview video. And today we'll have a look at the new and upcoming Tier 9 French heavy tank, the AMX M4 MLE 51, as you can see it here. And well, this tank, I already talked about this a lot. This tank, or this tank race, or people in general, was already in the game for a pretty darn long time. It even got hinted way back in the 7.0, I think. And sadly, the whole of the Tier 10 tank is different, but the turret stays the same. And well, right now we'll have a look at this upcoming tank. It will have 1900 hit points, an engine of 1000 horsepower, a weight of 73 tons and a power to weight ratio of, well, sadly only 13.7, which is not that good anymore compared to the tier 8 one. But it's probably important to note that the tier 8 one had a lot worse whole armor, but we'll come to that in just a bit. The HP to ton ratio is roughly, it's worse than on the Conqueror, yes. It's worse, but it's not too bad either. Maybe here it changed it a bit. Yes. I don't really found any good example of the same HP to ton ratio. Oh, that's kind of sad. I think the ST1 might actually be, it's too slow again. It's really a play around with HP to ton ratios to find the perfect fit for your tank. But I'm pretty darn sure it will feel like a Conqueror. That's how I will probably feel about, or well, this tank, but this tank has a better HP to ton ratio. 13.7 is definitely not too bad in my opinion, because well, you get along quite nicely with such an HP to ton ratio. When we have a look at the new Super Conqueror in the 9.20.1 test server, it's still a rather mobile-ish tank, but it has a worse HP to ton ratio, so you won't have such a too bad of a time. And this is again a little bit too big or too good. Where is the FV? Wargaming, there we go. Right on top of my mouse. There we go. Have a look where I played the FV215B and you have a pretty good impression of how this tank feels. Just slightly more sluggish because the terrain resistance values are not as good as they could be. The maximum speed of 40 km per hour is again still nice, still decent enough, still something you want to look forward to. The whole traverse speed actually goes up to 28 degrees per second and to 29 degrees of the turret traverse. Sadly, the fuel range is still not that good. Yes, if you get a good enough fuel range or a good enough crew, you will get your 445 meters of fuel range roughly with optics. But it's a huge investment. And yes, you maybe don't want to invest too much into that tank or into fuel range when you have other skills you need to get. But well, now comes the important part, the armor. 180 millimeters, 16 aside, 40 on the rear, and 300 millimeters on the turret. How does that look? It looks roughly like this, respective this. This tank will have a hard time doing side scraping because the sides are only 40 millimeters thick. But now comes the interesting part. The upper hull armor is actually, yes, it is good. It is really good, but it's still only 180 millimeters thick when we know that this tank right here has 190. But now comes the more important part. When we now put it right beside each other, and this, there we go. You can see that let's do it like, I think, like this is how I think about it, is that the slope on this tank's hull armor is better than on the AMX M4 MLE 49, meaning that it will have quite a better effective armor. Yes, this tank has great effective armor and it's enough to hold off tanks of your tier, but as soon as we go a little bit steeper, you can get even more ridiculous armor values, and I think that this armor will hold off quite nicely. The sad part, yet again, will be you need to stand frontally to your enemies, because just 150, it looks like 150 millimeters of armor, like here. Yes, frontally again, it's super strong, but angle it a bit, and only 200 millimeters thick anymore. That's certainly something you need to be really careful about. You can't do those great looking snapshots. No, not snapshots. You can't do those great side scraping. But what you can do, from what I see, is the whole lower whole arm is 120 millimeter thick in a great shape or a great angle from what I see here. Meaning that you can certainly try to peek around and do the same tactic as you would use in a Panzerkampfwagen 7, the tier 10 heavy tank of the German tech tree, which is also pretty darn not good for doing side scraping because of the huge side weak spot. But as you can see now, we should focus on that turret, because that turret looks bonkers, legit bonkers. And we have a little bit in a side angle. You can see here we have up to 300 millimeter of spaced armor. Then we go down here again, 300 millimeter, and this tank has a sloped turret, and not bad at all if you look at it, and it looks quite gorgeous in my opinion. And well, here we are. This tank has a weak spot, but it's way back, and if you fully use the gun depression of this tank, then it can be pretty darn hard to hit, first of all, the cupola, and second of all, well, penetrating it, I think, because it's still 120 millimeters thick and it can still bounce off. Sadly though, the side of the tank is pretty darn weak, meaning E49s will love that tank, and the new FV4005 stage 2 will love it too, and the new FV207 will love it too, and the old 183 will love it too. You get the gist what I'm talking about. This is like I think this tank will be remarkable when it comes to hold down, but the huge turret, which, well, it's roughly the same as the M103 has, it's just like, or the ST1, it's a big waterhead. I think comparing the turret to the M103 is a pretty darn good idea. Just the M103, like the new tank, doesn't have this stupid little called forehead here, which makes everything of the armor useless. And not so many shot traps. I'm pretty sure when I'm looking up from here that this tank's turret frontal is almost impenetrable. Just when you hit the cupola, which is 120 millimeters thick, then you will have a good time penetrating. But again, armor layout wise, the side of the turret is not really strong, meaning a T49 will and can penetrate it. So yeah, the armor is pretty darn decent. I would also say the frontal armor is roughly respective to the one of the Foch, probably not as angled enough, and you will probably get around 250 effective armor, which is, in my opinion, again, it's a good value, but it's not something you really want to rely on. Sadly, only this part here, this huge bulk here. I love that they actually took their time to put it into the game with, when you know that this part here is missing and this part here is missing too. Seriously though. Look, oh no, it's here. Okay, excuse me, but this part is missing. What the hell? Look, it's missing. For gaming, why you do this to us? This is part of the damage model. That should be in the damage model. And the same goes that we have here tracks, and those tracks are not modeled in. Come on, dudes. You can do better than that. But what is a tank without a gun? And this is where it gets interesting. We have two gun choices. First, we go over the 120mm, which will sadly be another gun you need to get, because this one has finally good penetration. The DPM is pretty darn good with 2380 in my opinion. It's not rivaling the one of FV215B, but it's definitely rivaling the one of the M103. And this is kind of important because the M103 has the same gun. 10 seconds reload time, 3.0 accuracy, and 1.9 seconds aim time is pretty darn cool. For that we also get really good penetration and, well, minus 8 degrees of gun depression, plus the 5 crew members I already talked about in my tier 8 AMX 65-ton video. Well, so far so good, I would say, but what is this? A 127mm gun, the first of its kind in this game. 470 damage, 610 with HE. Certainly something I'm really looking forward to, because the new gun of the FV207, the replacement for the 183, has as well a rather funky looking gun. And it has 420 damage. 420, woo! DPM is slightly worse, but you get again the best out of your boom and zoom. Sadly, the penetration really is bad, not really good. Depression keeps the same, accuracy gets down a little bit, and aim time gets also down. So here you get a bigger gun. That's about it. Really, that's all you get. A little bit more damage per shot, and that's it. Here you have more DPM, you have more accuracies, faster aim time, and better penetration. And I think it depends if I need to get this gun, and it depends how expensive this gun is. But otherwise, I will go for the 120mm gun, because stats-wise it's just so much better. And as you can see, the 127mm gun uses, well, AP as premium ammunition, which is definitely not something I really do like. Overall though, the model really looks great in my opinion. I really like that they use this tissue-like front over here for covering the gun mantlet. It really looks, it's appealing in my opinion. Just now think of one more tank. I think the Type 4 heavy stock gun, isn't it? Also, it's a 12.7cm gun, yes. This has less damage. Wait. Yes, it has less damage. This one has 470. It's the same caliber. But we can see it uses ARM capped common semi-AP. Whatever. Kind of funky. Well, guys, that's the video about this old looking and new tank into the game, the new old tank. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section below. Thanks for joining me for this review or preview, and good luck on the battlefield. I look forward to your ideas and comments, and I'll talk to you all later.